when you go to Databricks, there's try Databricks here. You all can go tonight or whenever you get chance. You can go and try Databricks, and when you do that, you require to sign up, and it will give you this free free account. And there's an option to do the enterprise, and there's like, if you see account level or like personal account, so you can go to the personal account one. Since I'm already in there, I'm not going further, but you can sign up anytime you want, right? And if you see for work, like free 14 days, which give you like 400 credits and entire enterprise level capability. For personal use, it is forever, and they just started, and you can learn and build exploratory data sets and stuff like that. So right now, this is the platform of Databricks. First feel like this is the UI when you get into Databricks. And if you see, like, this is a workspace which is like on US East 2, which is deployed for you in AWS platform. And then you get like on the left side, the panel is like you have the catalog. Catalog is nothing but like these days we use catalog. Before, if you have heard about database, right, they call it catalog. So every database is a catalog. For example, finance in your company is a catalog, HR is a catalog, right? So these kind of catalogs you can create to store data and govern data according to their domain. Plus it gives you jobs and stuff. Then there's SQL editor, dashboard. You can create dashboards into it. It provides you AI BI capability, so you don't have to go outside Tableau or anything. You can create dashboards here. There's a Genie concept. The Genie is Databricks agent, which basically you can tell him and it builds for you with the Genie concept. So you can use Genie and it will build for you things. You can ask things. So Genie code is very interesting. Even it can build you a dashboard. It will build you a visualization. You just have to give the command and it will build you. So that is there. Apart from that, they're also very good AI ML space. So they have this section AI ML space where there's a playground. You can build your own AI stuff. AI gateway, which is like most onto like different models and MCPs which they provide, which you connect to different tools. Like for example, if you ever heard about Glean or anything like that in an organization which has a documentation data of your company, right? So you can connect to that to get the context of the organization and also link it back to Databricks. So this is, and these are the models available here. Databricks GPT is like GPT, and then they have most of the Databricks AI stuff is built on cloud these days. So that's one thing. And if you may have heard about cloud these days, like it's going really nice and crazy. Like a lot of people are using it. It's exciting. It's very good. It gives really good performance. So that's there. And then features, model, and serving. So this is just to give you a feel of what it looks like. And if this workspace is basically nothing but you can store information like files, upload files, do things. This is given to you as a workspace. It doesn't mean that you cannot connect to your cloud. S3 or object in the Azure, you can always connect to that and get the information from there. But this is like a local storage for all your notebooks, files, and all that stuff, right? So if I like, the good thing is like when you go here, you can register for few fundamental courses, like get started with data engineering. It's a 45 minutes course which gives you all the hands-on exercises and as well as teach you how the Databricks works, and get started with analytics and BI. Okay, so if I quickly go into one of the workspace, and I've downloaded one. So data engineering basics. So this is what you get generally. Like it will tell you like what is data engineering responsibilities, data engineering architecture. Like so I'm just coming into data engineering side of things in Databricks, because eventually when you're using a Databricks is more of like you're bringing some data from some place, storing the data in the Databricks Lakehouse environment, and then using it for AI, ML, analytics, agentic framework, all that. So this is the whole flow here. So basically, if you don't have a quality data, if you don't bring the data correctly in your environment, it will be different. So it provides a lot of capabilities to get the data in a form which you want, and then on top of it, it provides you a lot of out of box capability from within the platform which can help you. And definitely through MCPs these days, you can use this data set, connect to Databricks through MCP, do some analysis in your own agentic framework like Cursor and as an IDE and all that. So that is all possible, and but I'm just giving it a feel. So let me quickly go to one of the of time 9:06. Okay. So it gives you a lab like this. So this is nothing but a notebook. So in a notebook, how many of you use notebook, right? So notebook is pretty good interactive kind of code base note, which you can execute things and see results on the same page, which is more graphics and all that. And basically it's a it gives you all the setup that, like, you set up your catalog name. For example, I told about in the left side, if you see catalog will be created there. And then you have schema, which is like within catalog of finance, you may have like a billing schema or a revenue schema or something like that. You can create that and then store data accordingly, right? So it will create an environment for you. It's just using Spark SQL. Spark SQL is just an API framework of Spark. This is all like Spark itself. If we have to learn, it will take like a couple of classes or something to just get started with Spark. Like, but it's a language which you can use within the Databricks. It's PySpark or Scala or Spark SQL or SQL directly. All that can be executed, and that's basically nothing but like you can change Python to SQL, and it can change and it executes accordingly. And this is what the notebook structure looks like. I'm not going and running all that, but basically you can, as soon as you come to the home page and you registered, you will have this get started with data engineering, and you can run all these stuff yourself to look how the notebook is executing. It's all written for you. The only one thing I'll tell you that when you're doing it, since this compute and storage is different, in like any SaaS application, the storage is different and different cost, and compute is different. So Databricks provide different kind of computes. One is SQL compute, like SQL warehouse, and there's a serverless compute. Serverless compute, and you can provision your own compute, like going with like exactly what server you want and stuff like that, and memory and all that according to your needs. But out of the box, it provides the serverless compute, and you can use that to run your application. And if you see, the type is serverless here. This is a feature which is really interesting these days, because in the background, basically the serverless is provisioning you the data and scaling out automatically on your needs, right? If you have a large data scale needs, it scales on the auto scaling capabilities there in the serverless, and it uses Photon in the background. So this is like just a compute architecture. So the compute and storage is different. So once you have the Databricks, and if you're not computing anything, if you're not running anything, you're not charging anything, right? So the charge model is that. So as per use, so whenever you're using or submitting a query or doing something, then they're charging, otherwise they will not charge you. Go ahead.
Is Photon like Lambda?
Photon is not necessarily Lambda. It's a system, basically, when you see the lake house, but they call it Delta Lake, right? So Delta Lake is a file format which is built on top of Parquet. Okay. So the way they do it, that this is a storage mechanism and additional metadata, which, like, maybe if you worked on ORC file format in the past or something like in Hive. So basically what initially when Hive started, the file was as is, and it was very slow to process, because right now everything is processed directly from the file. It's not getting stored in any disk or anything like that. So they have introduced the file format called Delta format, and that Delta format has this capability to have right metadata information to retrieve the data faster. So that's basically when you introduce the photon, right? It actually use memories, and they have own techniques to get in the background. It's not necessarily Lambda services or anything like that. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question. Like, do you know company in Corta?
In Corta,
Yeah, the
Corta,
In Corta.
in Corta, here is not.
like a brand. Is it the same one? Like, because they have data and
I think Databricks is more general. We can talk about that.
So in Corta, like if you're thinking about like I've not heard about that, but let me know like if it's some Microsoft, like any company, or it's like more of agentic assistance on top of it.
It's sort of it's more of the agents, but
Agents, right?
They do the database management as well.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
It's mostly for
Okay.
like,
Yeah, they may be, most probably.
enterprise clients.
Okay. So in catalog, if I come here, right, so if you see in the left side, there's system tables which you can go and see what's happening, compute, billing, lake flow, query, and all that stuff. And in your workspace, there's a default. You create the table here or something. Information schema is basically about the table. Like you can give all the information from here. So you can browse things from here. Like, and it has some sample data. So this is something here. So you can use that. Plus, this is the place where you see all the jobs and pipelines, right? So if I ask create me a job using sample data and store as table, and I just submitted one of the question to so it okay, allow. So it just asks like what do you allow me do this, do you allow me do that. I just randomly put that stuff. So
The data format is, you said like that, it's like row based data similar to like any kind of SQL table?
yeah, so output is any kind of SQL table. So it's a tabular format you can store.
Any tabular format.
Any tabular format. So basically it is agnostic, and I can show you that one great stuff like this will create the orchestration, what kind of stuff you can use. So in here, if I show you, right, so basically it uses, you can use like Databricks notebook, Python script, Python wheels, SQL files, DB SQL, Lakeflow. Lakeflow is a declarative pipeline which they have created on top of Spark. So you can say things and it will create your ETL pipelines. And then DBT, Java, Spark submits and all that. And then control flow is like sequential. You can say first this task should be run, then this task should be run. So first you say Python script should be run, which is calling an API from some external source. Then once the response come, right, that response should be stored in some place, and then next task is to read from that response as a SQL file to create a medallion architecture or something. So how many people you have heard about medallion architecture? No? Okay, so any organization, when you go, there's the first thing that they would like to store things in a medallion way, and that medallion architecture is nothing but bronze, silver, and gold. So bronze is something which they don't provide access to anyone. So this is the layer where you get the data first, raw data like in JSON format, Parquet format, like, or CSV format or something like that, and in a raw form which you need to work on it, right? And within bronze layer you can have landing and raw layer, like do tables. Landing is something which is as is, raw is like some flattening you have done on that data. Based on that, you try and take this data from bronze to silver with some sort of validation, some sort of like merging. Like for example, data coming in different like data coming, like take an example of an order of any store, right? So there will be order ID, there will be some details about it and stuff, but that order ID can be updated. So you make the data, you don't want to keep in that form for your customers, especially in the company. So when you move to the silver layer, you decide the strategy, like do we want to upsert, do we want to insert only, do we want to merge the data, do we want to do like kill and fill strategy, do we want to like create snapshotting. All that is part of the process. So basically that is something which any customer will ask you, that okay, when you're bringing the data, how you will bring to silver. And then eventually the gold layer is where the AI BI dashboard works. So gold layer is nothing but just not only the silver data, it's a combination of, for example, order and some products information and all that is joined together to give you the matrix out of it, or some calculative fields out of it, which gives you the right information instead of somebody going exploring. And it can be used, but it still required some merging, massaging, joining. All do is like we bring that gold layer, and gold layer is from where the company uses and rely the data and use for analytics and all that. So we just jumped a little bit, but like to bring the data, basically you can use, as your question was, you can schedule it, you can trigger manually, you can file trigger it, you can API trigger it and all that. This is an orchestration tool which is also provided. Like if you heard about Airflow, you have to have Airflow separately as a DAG, which you create separately. Then you have Trino or Hive as like a different like database setting somewhere else. Then you have Spark, which you need to submit, create jar files and use that jar file and add that jar. All that can be done in this architecture. And if you see this, all boxes is task. You can set the task, and each task can be of any different style. And the task can like build feature, click ingest, flaky, match, order ingest, persist. All tasks will run based on the sequence you provided, like if it's parallel, conditional, or like for each loop, like loop wise or whatever, you can define all that in this. So interest of time, okay, this is like the how you bring the data and job. Then this Genie, which I was working, almost created my ETL, I guess so, yes. Job and pipelines, yeah. So I just created this right now with just texting. It should create, yeah. So it created this task, and if you see, the task is unspecified, but it tells you that notebook task, workspace, what, serverless. You can add data to it, and it's still running, it's doing stuff, it's giving you the background, what it's thinking and all that. But this Genie is very like, and it's also giving like what kind of query it should do, accept all. I'm just accepting everything without reading. But these days this is something we do. So if it's saying user at this trip summary ETL, it's created that in the sample data, job and trip summary and all that. So so this is how basically one of the features. Obviously when you're doing it, really you know exactly what database, what table and stuff like that, but it can do stuff. Then in dashboarding also, this you can do, like you can create a dashboard with Genie. So you can just ask like, okay, use this catalog sample. I think let me go to this one quickly and sample, and I'll say that use this sample. What is that? Okay, sales transaction, for example. A little slow. Yeah. So if I go to SQL editor, so it gives you SQL editor, which you can create a new SQL query, and this, yep, and
is there all your tables?
yeah, this is sample table came from the Databricks, so this is not our table. At the end, I may show you guys my company stuff a little bit. Sorry. Open copy schema path.
After we turn off the.
So yeah, so this is the basically this sample is basically catalog, and this is the table. So it shows you table versus view versus volume. Volume is something which you can create within the catalog, and the volume gives you 5 GB of space to upload some stuff like CSV file or something from your local computer. So you can always create volume from here, or like if it's like this is the table, right? So let me go and copy table path, and yeah. So if I tell now if I go and say forecast daily, build a dashboard. Okay. Build a dashboard using this data, give some good analytics, and
Question.
Yeah.
Does all this data have to live in Databricks where I pay for ingest, or can these tables live elsewhere?
Yeah, so there's an external catalog concept that table can live in Snowflake, table can live in Hive, table can live in SQL Server, table can live that. But when you create that, whenever you read, the compute cost will be there. You won't be charged for the, but eventually like.
No ingest though, right?
No, you don't need to ingest. You just create an external catalog,
Okay.
and there's something called I just forgot the name, but they provide that you set up the parameters, you provide some URLs and the connection string and all that of that database, and it should allow. So basically you can do that, and also like if the data is stored in S3, and currently whenever you load something in Databricks recommend to load in delta format, which is Parquet. But if still want to use something from JSON, CSV, or any other format, you can create an external table after. So there's two types of table, which is a concept: managed versus external. Managed is managed by Databricks. So whenever you delete an object, it will also delete the storage with the managed table. But if you create an external table, basically you create a schema based on your file structure, and when you delete the schema, it doesn't delete the data. So you can always create a new structure, you can create whatever you want all the time.
And practically that would usually be cheaper, having an external.
No, so the cost, delta format is pretty good and fast within Databricks. So generally, yeah, it is cheaper. Performance maybe not that good. When you're using the external JSON and all that. This is obviously the old architecture which is still provided, which is like in Hive also in the world, you can have an external table. From HDFS you store the data, but this is basically what I see I've done recently, just to tell you guys. So it's doing some dashboarding for me. It started. So what happens is that, like recently what I did is I created some cost optimization skills, which is in cloud, and basically cloud provides, or cloud code provides the concept of skills. So what you can do is like you can create your data engineering skill, you can create your ETL skills, you can create your change management skills, you can create all that. So I created similar something called cost optimization skills, and I'm in process to move that into AI dev kit of Databricks, so all can use like across Databricks community and all that. So that's in the process right now. But what it does, it like basically based on the background which I've seen through the cost for job compute, they have different, like when you schedule a job, the job compute cost is low, very low, versus when you use a serverless job to call some API and stuff, that is a little expensive. So they have an option for performance optimize. So if you don't want like a very quick answer or something, you can turn off that performance optimize, and basically it uses the like old architecture. It may take 10 minutes more, but it will bring the data with low cost. And the warehousing in the so it's creating some data sets in the background. If you see, it's created the weather data set and it's reading all that stuff it's doing, and most probably it started visualization. I didn't nothing here, to be honest, right now.
Wow.
So it's creating stuff for me. It's saying average air quality is 24.5, total cities analysis. All this is getting built by AI agents, Genie code. So, and if you ask things about it, like change things for me and do things, all you can do it through communication from here. Like all this is possible. So I was talking this while it builds. So cost wise, basically in the background, we SQL warehouse, which they call it serverless SQL warehouse. It's not by query cost. The cost is not optimized or incurred by query. It's by when you activate the warehouse. And as soon as you activate the warehouse, the time it remains active in that period, like for example, if you say the shutdown when there is no activity for if there's no activity for 5 minutes, shut it down. Within 5 minutes, if you run just a select star or maybe like limit one row, it will still charge you for 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, you can do anything, like anything which you can run 5 minutes, you run it. It will be the same cost.
So you need to batch as much as possible.
Yeah, so you need to structure your jobs in a way that it's optimized, like within an hour when you schedule it, within an hour you're optimizing that time. Like in an hour you're trying to get all the jobs done or all the SQL queries done or whatever you want to get done, right? And then if you basically you schedule your jobs across the day, it will be a full cost. Like you're 24/7 you're using the SQL server, so whatever the cost set, like 24 dbu for medium warehouse, extra small is I think 3 dbus, 12 dbus is for dbus is nothing but the credits, and one dbu is associated with some sort of like dollar amount, which is like for example call it $10 for medium and stuff like. So it did all my analysis. It's doing all which a data analyst generally does it. So you can give the data set, it will analyze it, it will try to bring you the most optimal charting, it will give you all that, it will build the data set in the background, whatever it is. Since I provided one data set, but yeah, it can do many things. And this is one page you can name, and you can create multiple pages here like a pages, and it's all here, and it will give you, if you ask them to filter capabilities or anything like that, you can do. And if you want to do manually, obviously there's an option, you can create filters and other stuff and things like that. But yeah, so things are moving really fast, and everyone is, regardless of Databricks or stuff, the biggest skill these days is to know agentic framework, how to use agents and how to use them to create things out. These days I'm using a lot agents. So I think we are there, 9:30. So I think we can wrap it up. If you have any questions, let me know about Databricks. But yeah, play around with it. You can find all the stuff here, like, and then online you have resource. Databricks provide free resources. So you can go to Databricks resource, and basically you can Databricks resource, and there are many. Yeah, it's right here. So if you come here, this side, they have all sort of like from dashboard to decision minutes, data and AI powering Databricks growth, like, and what it takes to run AI agents in production, all the different talks, all different AI agentic stuff. These days you see a lot of AI agentic stuff, and they recently introduced Agentbricks. Agentbricks is like an app which you can create with an agentic framework, and it will work for you. Your agent is still working. Okay, yeah. So basically you can come and get as many free resources and learn yourself and apply that to the platform you get through free tier. And if you still want more use cases out of it, then you can definitely get it. But this is like I would recommend go and start looking for the resources, search for your category like analytic research, like guides, other trainings, webinars, what you want. Like you want training, so go 4 short videos, level up your AI agentic skill, data engineering in 5 short videos, pre-training, all that is there. So you can use resources. Plus there's number of YouTube videos on this. But I would recommend whatever platform you're using, this major, like anyone who is doing like data engineering or data side of work, the concept remains same. Like you're bringing data from one place, you're taking the data to like in the middle, then you massaging, making it available. So for data engineering in current AI surge, the key thing is to create quality data with the right metadata. So when you say quality data with right metadata, means that you just don't create data, you explain the data in your metadata, that what this field is all about, what it can be used. So AI agent, when it comes to this, it can do right results and good results out of it, right? So that is the key. Apart from that, things are becoming easier, but especially with the agents. So as I showed you, like it's created this dashboard for me. I think this is the one, global weather dashboard. Yeah, except
dashboard like this used to take days to create.
yeah, so dashboards are really like automate, like you can just pass whatever, and it gives you all sort of option, whatever. And not only this, so you can like basically take an image, yeah, you just give the image, paste it here, whatever image you want, it will replicate it.
That's crazy.
You can paste your pipeline image and it will replicate it. You can paste your data output, it will create the pipeline for you like that.
Can I draw it on a whiteboard?
Yeah, anything.
On a whiteboard?
Yes.
Oh
It will read it. It will create like that.
That's crazy.
So
does it support NoSQL or vector database here?
NoSQL, yes.
Vector database.
Vector, yeah. Vector is there. So basically, if you go to here, job name.
Wait, NoSQL as well, but it's not tabular, or I guess it's.
So see, so you can create vector database and you create endpoint, and you can use that endpoint to give that to a model and it can work. So we basically recently did one operational work where we created like basically what was that work was that we have a lot of tickets and stuff comes right from different places, and if the error happening or something, so we have notes like how we are resolving them and stuff. So we created not only like for all nodes, because it will be like in millions, right? So we merged it into vector with a unique search, and it created all the scoring and indexing, and that is used for Glean agent or agent to respond quickly. Whenever the ticket opens, it goes and search and tells you that what next action on call has to take. Like it has to work on this, you can do this, you can write this is the background, this was the previous solution, this was that, all that can be done.
So it's also supporting embedding database. Basically, if you give it a big box or a document, it will read it and embed that inside.
Yes.
Wow.
It is all here. Like you can basically, I haven't touched the AIML area, but you can do anything you think of, because Databricks concept is, and I've worked in Snowflake, these two are basically more modern SaaS applications these days on data, but Databricks is more feasible for people who have been already working in different spaces, and they just come to this place, they have familiarity on how the feature can be created, how the model can be trained, how to use Spark, they can start using it within this framework.
So like for the different databases like this one, Milvus, it's a vector database. So can we integrate it with?
Generally, yeah, that's something they don't allow, because they already allow you to create vector database in their ecosystem. But if you want to ingest and they allow any capability of ingesting, yeah, definitely, yes, you can.
Let's wrap up, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, everyone. Thank you, Brother Said. That
No,
was fantastic.
No, thank you. Sorry, there's a lot of information I cannot cover in 30 minutes. I was just trying to go hop here and there, but if you go and